Again, I had a whole bunch of questions hit my email inbox. I thought I'd jump in and answer those really quickly. If you haven't signed up yet to join the free challenge, go to thewellplannedkitchen.com/summer7. We are just on day 1. So today our goals are to stay on plan. We're also listening to THM podcast episode number 51, and we're making an S breakfast to portion out and eat throughout the week. That's the task for today. There are different tasks for every day of this challenge, but for every day, the focus is staying on plan. It is absolutely important to stay on plan. So that's the goal. Now, I got a whole bunch of questions. So I'm going to try to answer a few of the most common ones. The first question I got was, what if you are going to someone else's house? How do you stay on plan? You don't want to be rude. You don't want to be demanding. You don't want to be that house guest, right? I have found that staying on plan at other people's homes can be a little more challenging, but I do believe that people aren't typically paying as much attention to us as we think they are. I certainly, when I have dinner guests over, I am not monitoring their plates and seeing how much they eat. So what I like to tell my coaching clients in Bootcamp is, what I'd like you to do is do your best. So your best is something that you have to be real about, and it is going to be different for every person and every situation. If 5 times a week you're like, well, I didn't stay on plan, but I did my best, I would challenge you to consider if you really did your best or if you could have done something a little bit better. But if you go to an all-you-can-eat buffet and they have chicken that has some breading and you cut off the breading, but you think there's some mixed in there, or you get some spaghetti, you're at a friend's house and they have spaghetti and meatballs, and you avoid the spaghetti, but you eat a lot of sauce and meatballs, and there might have been some breadcrumbs in the meatballs. You really have no idea. Or you get a side salad and you don't know what the dressing is, that you don't know if it's on plan or not, but you have to eat something. That's doing your best, in my opinion. That means that I made the best decision I could with the information that was available to me, and I tried my hardest to stay on plan. Now, like I teach you in Bootcamp, there is a whole slew of things to do afterwards to kind of minimize the damage, just in case you got some off-plan foods or sugar in there. But it's different than actively seeking out an off-plan meal. If you go to a friend's house and you have 3 portions of spaghetti, or you just go ahead and go whole hog and have the dessert they made, or you eat just anything that looks good, I just ask you to consider maybe that's not doing your best. And that's not to say that there aren't situations where choosing to go off plan isn't something you can do, because certainly we have that choice, we have that freedom. But while you're trying to get results on THM, I really recommend buckling down as much as possible and focusing on how to stay on plan. And one of those strategies that's really important to think through is, what do you do when you're in a situation where there doesn't appear to be any on-plan food? In those situations, that's where I recommend doing your best, like we just talked about. Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe it's somebody brings Subway sandwiches, and like the first THM book talks about, if you basically, for me to summarize in my own way, which is definitely not exactly what they said, but if you had a whole wheat sub, we don't want to be doing that often. We don't want to be doing that, I would say, even frequently. Technically, that isn't exactly an on-plan meal, but the THM book uses that as an example of something that you might have to do at some point. But to make it better, you could hollow out the bread. You could have only lean toppings so it's closer to an eat. It's not perfect, and it's definitely not something I recommend very consistently at all, or even, with any degree of frequency. That those occasions should be rare and few and far between. But if somebody's feeding you something and you have to do the best you can, just make sure the best you can involves staying as close to the plan as you possibly can and not going crazy. So if those circumstances come up over the next 7 days, that's what I recommend. I do believe, however, if you are ordering for yourself at a restaurant, you can stay on plan almost anywhere. I did have a Bootcamp member who went to one place that was really challenging for me to find something for her to have, and that was Cane's, or Raising Cane's. I think we have a few of them here in Colorado, but I hadn't really seen them. I think they're mostly in the South. And what we ended up having her do was she ended up cutting off the breading off the chicken and ate the best she could. Again, knowing not everything was ideal in there, and I'm sure there were some breading and things, but she did her best. Most places, though, you can find good on-plan foods. I just today went to Heidi's Brooklyn Deli. They have these huge Italian sandwiches, and you can just get it without the bread. It's delicious. And they have pickles on the side. Great on-plan S meal. Be flexible and look for things you can eat on plan. Again, there is an eating out guide available at thewellplannedkitchen.com. but just do your best and try to make sure you're eliminating excuses wherever possible. So the next question I got was about this particular challenge and boot camp. So they are two separate things. So I don't want any confusion there. These free challenges are totally free. They're just to inspire you and motivate you and get a little bit of support going your way. My direct focus and most of my time goes to my coaching clients, and I coach them in a group in boot camp. I have 6-week boot camp sessions. They sell out every single time. And after this session, the price is actually going up. So this one, I've already had a bunch of people request for me to hold spots for them. I cannot do that. I'm so sorry, but Bootcamp registration opens tomorrow. So that is completely separate from the free challenge. That is group coaching online with some one-on-one attention. If you sign up for that, you also get a one-on-one phone call with me. We have weekly live coaching sessions, meal plans, Q&As, tons of THM resources. I have a full THM library that I make available through everything I post there. It's in a private network online, but that's 6 weeks of a really systematic, strategic approach to getting you on plan and help you stay on plan long-term and get results. And probably the number one comment I get through Bootcamp is, wow, the scale is finally moving. This is finally working again. I never thought I could stick to it this long. That's what Bootcamp is about. That is completely different from this free challenge. So this challenge, the 7-day challenge, this is free. You do not have to pay anything to participate. Just get your free printable, follow the tasks every day, but most importantly, stay on plan. That's the goal. 7 days completely on plan. If you would like to register for Bootcamp, I will send an email when Bootcamp registration opens tomorrow, and you can sign up then as long as spots are available. But as I said, they sell out every single time. So those are two separate things. The next question I got was actually, I don't know how related to this challenge or to Bootcamp it is, but I was asked if I do freezer cooking for THM. So there are certain types of people that I definitely recommend freezer cooking for. If you are someone who needs a little more structure, who needs to have those meals available to you, absolutely. There's a couple of different ways to freezer cook. I do not have the time or the energy to spend 3 or 4 hours doing a solid once a month meal cooking, freezer cooking session. I don't have time for that. And I don't know a lot of people who enjoy it, but I have met people who enjoy it. So if you're one of those, go for it. That's great. I even have I have one 90-minute freezer cooking session at thewellplannedkitchen.com. I have a 2-hour freezer cooking session, 15 meals in about 2 hours. Those are available and they have step-by-step directions. I did that because I was asked to, and I love you guys and I'm happy to help out, but that is not my preferred method of freezer cooking. So if that's something you want to knock out all at once, that's great. What I like to do to freezer cooking, and those resources are free too and totally available to you. Go to thewellplannedkitchen.com/freezer cooking for those. The way I like to stock my freezer for THM though is not necessarily with that, although it's great every once in a while. I like to just double my dinners or triple my dinners. So if I notice I'm running out of freezer meals for THM, I will just spend a week, one solid week, where every night at dinner I double or triple what I'm making and freeze the rest. I do have an extra freezer in my garage. I know not everybody has that. That helps out a lot. But if you are someone who just wants to get the extra meals in there, but does not want to spend the time cooking, I recommend just doubling your dinners. It's so easy. You're already getting your dishes dirty. You're already messing up your kitchen. You already have all the ingredients out. So taking a few extra minutes, it really doesn't take that long unless you're doing something like hand grating cheese or something, which is fine. That could take a few extra minutes. But instead of doing like the big, huge sessions, I just double my dinner or triple it, depending on if I think, if it's a big family favorite, it probably will go faster. And we'd probably like to have some lunch leftovers too. If I triple it, I just stick the second or third portion, whatever I decide to do, if I'm doubling or tripling, and stick that in the freezer for later. If I do that for one solid week, I don't rely on freezer meals every single night. So that means that if I do that for one solid week, I have enough freezer meals. I'll have 7 freezer dinners. If I use 1 or 2 a week over the next 3 weeks, I've got a handful of dinners done. I've got a good number of freezer dinners done that are on plan. I just pull them out to thaw the night before, and that's pretty simple and easy, but that's my favorite way to do it on THM. And then the last question I was going to cover, I had about 4 people ask me what I like to do for quick and easy lunches. So something I love to do is to just get one of the big cartons of lettuce. And I know this seems like an extra step, but I'm telling you, I am way more motivated to eat it when I do this. And I have some clients doing this too. We just portion it out into either baggies or bowls. or whatever works for you. Portion out the lettuce and get, sometimes I chop cucumbers, sometimes I don't. It depends on how much time I have. If I do, that's a decent salad, and then a rotisserie chicken. If I grab one of those a week, I have meat that will last about 5 days that I can just add to my salad, or a pack of tuna. Or my favorite thing to do is to just add a hard-boiled egg or two to my salad and have it with ranch dressing. That said, in busy seasons of life, I am a firm believer in prepping, right? I really do. I have a whole book on, it's called Easy Low Carb Meal Prep in Minutes, where I teach people how to have little prep sessions, even 15 minutes long, that can set you up with your snacks and desserts and meals and all of that. But sometimes I honestly, with the way my life is with kids and work and busy schedule, sometimes I can't find 15 minutes. I will be totally honest. Usually I can, sometimes I can't find that long. So when I'm in that season, I will buy as many convenience items as I can fit into the budget, because it's still cheaper than eating out, and rely on those things. One of those things I've been using lately is the pre-cooked hard-boiled eggs at Costco. I have had people comment to me that those are not healthy, but I looked into them a lot, and all I could find was that eggs are the only ingredient. I can't find preservatives in them. I don't know, maybe there are, but I was not able to see that in the ingredient list. They're just pre-cooked hard-boiled eggs, and those are a huge time saver for me. Yes, I know it doesn't take long to cook hard-boiled eggs in the Instant Pot. I even have an Instant Pot recipe for hard-boiled eggs. But when I am just in and out of the door all day long, which happens all the time, just coming home for a quick meal or snack, those are a lifesaver. The other thing I've been buying lately that saves a lot of time, and again, if I have the time, I will cook a big batch of brown rice in my Instant Pot. I love to have something cooking while I'm making dinner that's unrelated to my dinner, just because I'm already in the kitchen. I might as well be efficient and get something else going. But if I don't have even a few minutes to do something like that, or I'm having a busy week where I'm really relying on freezer meals or pantry meals or something like that, I will buy their bowls of brown rice at Costco. There's I think it's a pack of 6. The only ingredients are brown rice, water, and there's a tiny bit of oil, but it doesn't add to fat content. So I'm not sure exactly where that shows up. But those brown rice bowls, you microwave them, 90-second rice. A lot of the ones you find at the grocery store have added ingredients that are off plan. These don't have any flours or starches or anything. So keep an eye out for those if that's something you'd be interested in. But that is a really quick and easy carb source for an e-meal that I like to have handy. So having those convenience items, it's just when you're in a season of life where you can prep, that's awesome. When you can recognize that you're not, being able to stock up on store-bought, drive-through type items that are not Frankenfoods can be really, really helpful. I don't want to be relying on packaged products like Popcorners or Skinny Pop or things like that for the bulk of my snacks, because I know how that will affect my body. My body does not like those things. And I've broken through huge weight loss stalls with people with THM, starting to avoid some of those Frankenfoods as much as possible, or even not. Skinny Pop isn't really a Frankenfood, but even the things that are, maybe on plan, but have a lot of corn in them, or on plan, maybe the things that are permissible, but not recommended necessarily, permissible, but not beneficial. Those things sometimes can cause a few issues with people struggling with stubborn weight. Quest bars are a good example. Those are the kinds of personal choice items that I could stock up on. But if I'm relying on those, I am just probably not as likely to get the same kind of benefits as whole foods that are maybe pre-made for me in a drive-through stew fashion, like the hard-boiled eggs or the brown rice. So keep an eye out for things you can buy that are pre-cooked for you, but still relatively healthy, that can help carry you through the times that you don't have time to prep on your own. So that's all I've got for now. I'm just answering a couple of questions. Again, the bootcamp registration will open up tomorrow. If you're not on my email list, I really recommend it, especially if you want to get a spot, because they go quickly. And I hope day 1 is going well for you, and that you're staying totally on plan, and that you have done just the few simple tasks we have for today. I will talk to you soon. Bye.